Eliza Gilkyson and Gretchen Peters are coming to Next Stage in Putney on Sunday, April 30th. There's a meet and greet ahead of the show at 6 o'clock with beer, wine, and Vermont cider. And then the show's at 7 o'clock with Eliza and Gretchen each performing solo and then performing together. If beer, wine, and cider aren't enough to get you out, keep listening. I've got half the marquee on the phone with me. Austin, Texas, and or northern New Mexico-based Eliza Gilkyson. Hi, Eliza. Thanks for taking this time with us.
I can't wait to come up there. I mean, my Vermont. If you weren't going to live in Austin, maybe you'd live in Vermont.
Well, you're not a stranger to Vermont, but I'm not sure if you've been in this little corner.
I don't think I have. I'm pretty sure I haven't, unless I was driving through on my way to somewhere.
That happens. For folks who might not yet be familiar with you, let's just try to recap a little bit right off the bat. You've been at the music thing for a good while now. Mm-hmm. You've got about a gajillion Folk Alliance awards, including Best Artist, Best Songwriter, Record of the Year, another gajillion Austin Music Awards, including Songwriter of the Year, and you're in the Austin Music Hall of Fame, rubbing elbows with Willie Nelson, Townes Van Zandt, Nancy Griffith.
Yeah, they did that. That was a big surprise to me.
Well, that kind of recognition has got to feel pretty good.
You know, I think you get to a certain point where you don't pay attention to it anymore because your expectations get lowered. Let's say your reality, your place in the scheme of things, you become less important. And so when things like that happen, it's very nice. It's kind of sweet in a way because you're not as invested in it as you were maybe when you were younger, but in some ways it's more rewarding as a result. It's a pleasant surprise.
So the Grammy nods for Best Contemporary Folk Album and Best Folk Album, no big deal.
Well, they're a huge deal, but believe me, on the day they announce the Grammys, I don't even know what day that is, and I don't go running and looking to find out who got nominated. I never think I'm going to get nominated. So the two times that has happened, I've been over the moon and pleasantly surprised.
Okay, so all of the awards and the accolades and the adulation aside, why do you do this?
I mean, I'm not good at anything else. You know, I'm a one-trick pony kind of, but I'm one of the lucky people who gets to do something with their lives that is fulfilling and meaningful, that puts a roof over my head and takes me to beautiful places. It's really just such a wonderful thing to align your inner vision with your outer one, and I don't think everybody gets to do that, and so I feel incredibly fortunate. Most of the time I'm just amazed that I still get to do this for a living, that even with, you know, the changes in the industry and my getting older, that I feel very, very fortunate. It's a way to get up in the morning and because I feel very powerless a lot of the time, especially politically. I feel, you know, that things are way not the way I would want them to be, but it's great every day to be able to get up and know that I'm working towards what I think is good and fair in the world. It's really nice to know that my work goes along with that. And it's satisfying to write, it's satisfying to sing, it's satisfying to share with people, to be part of communities all over the world that care about things the same way I do. It's just heaped meaning upon meaning for me in my life.
You don't just have a mic in front of the mouth, you've got boots on the ground.
That's a nice way of putting it. Yes, I'm lucky that way. There are times when you're also a moving target as a result, but I think as long as there's a camaraderie of like-minded people, it feels meaningful every day.
I was reading an article, and it says, her music offers a vivid reflection of the times we live in, full of joys and sorrows, each song a window into a life of struggle and triumph in a world poised on the edge of moral, economic, and environmental bankruptcy. That's pretty dark.
Well, you know, if you're not worried, then you're not really paying attention. I think we are at a real crossroads, and in some ways we've gone past the crossroads in terms of the environment. It's just, you know, how are we going to manage this future that's coming, and what kind of human beings are we going to be? And when things change, I'm just not sure how long it can go on the way it is. It's almost going along out of some kind of agreement that we all have to be civilized to each other. And if that shifts, then things will drastically change in our world.
a decade ago, you were doing a really cool thing in Austin, the Last Sunday series.
I think I've been aware of the potential bankruptcy of our systems since well before the current disaster. I think anybody who was paying attention would have been worried 20 years ago and 30 years ago. And so I've been writing about it for a long time. Recently I was putting together a discography, and I put out my first record in 1969. And even then I was talking about, I was just a teenager, but even then I was writing about the environmental crisis that we're coming to now, that's coming to a head now. Sometimes you have to really be shocked into changing belief systems, economic systems, the ways we live. And Leonard Cohen said, "You want it darker." I guess maybe that's what we need to be reminded of what's of value. I think there are plenty of people who are thinking about those things and organizing themselves communally and in communities. When I go to a roadside farmer's market, I feel hope, because I see people agreeing, about things that are of value: family, health, neighborliness, kindness. I see that. Those little things are very important to me.
And that's how we can all keep our spirits afloat.
I think so, as long as we have each other. I put that into a song that the light shines brightest in the darkest times, and that has always been the case of the many different cycles of cultures and civilizations.
Do you think you've taken any wrong turns along the way? Do you feel like that ever?
Sorry, I'm not laughing at the question. I'm laughing at the answer. I have made so many mistakes. I'm surprised I'm, A, still standing, and B, that I still have a career. A couple of times in my career, I was really talked into trying to be a pop artist, in the early years, and I put my acoustic guitar into a closet and pulled out an electric guitar and got a mullet. And, you can find some of that stuff on YouTube, and it's really funny. And there was a time when I was writing a lot of country stuff and pop stuff, and I really put up my folky thing on the back shelf, and I was sorry that I did that. And then, in terms of, my God, I married my manager for 14 years. Now that was there's a mistake. Don't ever marry your manager.
I'll keep that in mind.
And a lot of people did that back in the day. We'd sort of pair up with the people we were working with, but that, was not a very smart move. And then, I also left my kids a lot when I was traveling, and I have a lot of regrets about that. And I've had to really work that out with my kids. They're such forgiving, wonderful people, and we've had many discussions about how difficult it was to have a touring parent who, was gone a lot, and, that was very hard for them.
Yay for your kids for being understanding.
Oh, they're the best. They're just, gosh, such good people. And now I work with my son. He produces my records and my videos.
Looking forward to the show. You bring a vibrant mix of laugh till you cry storytelling, political diatribe, and love songs ranging from the global to the most intimate. I
think that's accurate. That's what I like to do. I like to tell the story of the human condition, and it's one of the great freedoms of being a performer is that you can kind of go on a journey into places that might feel, a lot of emotion, but there's a safety in doing it together and exploring that together with a performer. It's like going on a journey together, and I feel out the audience, see where they like to go, and we go there together, and we laugh a lot and tell stories, and we cry some, and it is fun.
Well, I think you're going to like performing at Next Stage. It's a great intimate theater that they've thrown a lot of energy into. And I understand that you really like these kind of venues.
Oh, gosh. I love the community venues, and I love these refurbished old halls, and it makes me very happy. And I can't say enough great stuff about Gretchen Peters, too. She's just such a really world-class writer. I've just always a pleasure to share the stage with her.
I'm going to be able to talk to her a little bit later on, too.
Excellent.
And I understand that the two of you and Mary Gautier are causing mayhem, Three Women and the Truth.
Yeah, we're a badass little group of girls. We have a women, I should say. We love doing a show together, and we approach our songwriting three very distinctly different ways. It makes for a really interesting show that's never the same show twice in a row.
How do you approach songwriting that's different than Mary? I've had a discussion with Mary about her approach to things. How do you do it?
Mm-hmm. I am a much more intellectual writer than Mary. I think we've had this conversation, and because we teach songwriting together, and so it's come up. She's very visceral. Mary just goes by the gut, and I really contemplate, especially when I'm writing political music, I really contemplate the issues. I study them. We both want there to be an emotional response, but I think it's a little more tricky involving the intellect because you don't want to sound detached from the subject. It's just a different approach.
And you and Gretchen and Mary together are teaching a songwriting workshop in July, I think?
Yes, we are, and it's up at my website at elizagilkyson.com. I think there's one opening left for our workshop.
For people who want to develop the songwriting craft, wow.
You know, the thing about these writing workshops that I like is that you don't have to be any level of expertise. The point is to write from the place you are now, and because we all truly believe that everybody has the ability to express creativity, and so it doesn't matter where you're starting from. What matters is what you're drawing on within yourself, and that really comes up a lot. So in the classes.
Earlier in this discussion, you kind of self-effacingly said that you're a musician because you can't do anything else. It almost seems like you being a musician was inevitable. You've nurtured it, but there was a seed.
My dad, no doubt, because he was such a great songwriter and a creative person. And interesting, Gretchen's dad was also a writer, and we've had many comparisons about, how that affected us. And my dad had musicians coming through our lives from a very early age, and he sat around at the house and wrote with his guitar, and he was also very playful and spontaneous, and I fell in love with the guys in his band. They were all young Van Dyke Parks, 17-year-old Van Dyke Parks was in his band in the 60s in Los Angeles, and I was just in love with these kids, older guys than me. They were playing in his band. I just thought, man, I want this. These people are so cool. They are having so much fun making such beautiful music. That's what I wanted.
And despite that, you ended up marrying a Midwestern intellectual.
Better just to have one artist in the family, one musician. Yeah, no, I did. I went with the intellectual, but boy, that has been, third time was the charm.
Eliza Gilkyson and Gretchen Peters are coming to Next Stage in Putney, Sunday, April 30th. We've been talking with Eliza. Meet and greet at 6, show at 7. Tickets are only available at the door, which is kind of cool, I think. And they're only $20, which is, for this bill, startling.
We were startled.
And somehow, it's my understanding that this is a part of a local effort to raise funds for a recovery center in Bellows Falls.
Yeah.
And
I wish the best for them.
Yeah, they're going to be addressing the opioid problem that is just sweeping the country.
Oh, is that big? Happening big in Vermont too?
Everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's just people are intuiting that the future does not look so great. I think it's just it's really everybody shutting down. It makes me so sad. It's a good project. We're happy to be part of it.
Good save.
Yeah, thanks. I just went by. Wah, 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 wah.
Is there anything that I haven't touched on? Anything cool that's going on that we should address?
Nothing specific. I have a new video out that I'm very proud of that I just released about a month ago around a song of mine called The Great Correction. And it was a history of the resistance movements in the USA from early on all the way up till current events, seen through the eyes of some of the world-class photographers. And it's like going to a photograph exhibition with this song called The Great Correction. And I would highly recommend it for people who would like to see a visual treat.
And that's at your website, ElizaGilkyson.com. Eliza is spelled just how you think Eliza is spelled. Gilkyson is Gilkyson, like Gilkyson. I'm going to take us out on that song. Being radio, You're not going to see it, so go to the website. But the lyrics, this is amazing. The song isn't new. It was on your album Beautiful World almost a decade ago. The video was brand new. But you could have written this thing last week.
I know that. I thought, I'm not going to be able to say this any better than I did in 2008. I'm just going to go with this song. And I think when you see the video, you see the years of these systems in play and how it's been playing out and how resistance movements have come and gone with the same issues or the same overarching imbalances.
How do we address that?
That's really the question, isn't it? I think the first thing we have to do is recognize how we are party to these systems. We have to understand how they play out. If we don't understand it, how can we change it? We're in this together.
Down here on the corner of ruin and grace, I'm growing weary of the human race. Hold my lamp up in everyone's face, looking for an honest man. Everyone tied to the turning wheel, everyone hiding from the things they feel. Oh, the truth's so hard, it just don't seem real. The shadow across this land. People around here don't know what it means to suffer at the hands of our American dreams. Turn their backs on the grisly scenes, traced to the privileged sons. They got their God, they got their guns, got their armies and the chosen ones. But we'll all be burning in the same big sun when the great correction comes. Down through the ages, lovers of the mystery, we've been saying, people, let your love light shine. And sages all throughout history, they say the light burns brightest in the darkest times. It's the bitter end we've come down to, the eye of the needle that we gotta get through. But the end could be the start of something new. The great correction comes. Lovers of the mystery, they've been saying, people, let your love light shine. Poets and sages all throughout history, they say the light burns brightest in the darkest time. This heart of mine, but the future waits on the horizon line for our daughters and our sons. I don't know where this train's bound, a whole lot of people trying to turn it around. Gonna shout till the walls come tumbling down and the great correction comes. Don't
Hi, this is Eliza Gilkyson, and you are listening to WOOL Black Sheep Radio.